welcome to my channel. My name is Ashley, otherwise known as Dior Minhyuk. This is my model Dior. You'll be seeing her a lot more often, especially when it's video game content. My face will still be visible when I do like my K-pop reaction videos and stuff, but today we're going to be diving into clove smokes and how to smoke properly. So we're just going to go through all the maps except for Breeze, because why are we smoking? Like, why are we playing smokes on Breeze? That is a spray and pray kind of run and gun kind of map. So, okay, so first things first, we're going to start as if we are just defenders, since I'm already on this side, and to get a better look. So for A main, it's pretty simple. You just want to line it up with this right here, just these two walls. And it should look something like this. So when the attackers are coming in, they can't just go off to a corner and hide. Like, they'll be seen from anyone in tower or standing at backside. When you are attacking, the one smoke, I always get away with just doing one smoke for A site. It's just a simple tower smoke. I do have some teams who occasionally want smokes like this, but these aren't the best smokes, as they can just hide and backside. So always stick with just this smoke over here on tower. For B site, oh hey, there's a little room there. Okay, so for B site, if you are defending, I always do this one off of B main, and then the one in B nest. And that basically hides anyone in B nest. And then again, just your typical entry smoke. They can't really hide as they're coming onto site. For attacking, I normally come up here into nest, hide behind a wall, and then I will smoke far and to tower. So they can't really go all the way forward or they'll fall off. And then if they go off to the sides over here, they'll be seen. You could also get away with doing a smoke over here off of B link. I wouldn't suggest a smoke like this, as they could still have access to site. So I would say smoke it more up front, like this. Yeah, they could still like hide back here, but by that time, they're already like, people are already getting on them. So for ascent, these ones are probably the easiest smokes you can do. So first we have A main. Really, for defense, you just need the one smoke, and it should look like that. So when they come onto site, they can't veer off into these sides and hide out in the smoke. So this proper smoke. I see a lot of cloves smoke like this. And basically what happens here is they can easily hide out into the smoke and just wait. And the same with here, they could just peek through to the side. If it's the proper smoke, if they go off to the side, they're gonna get shot. Same here. And then if they're just rushing forward, it's just, they're gonna get seen. For defense, always smoke tree and rafters. And if you do play with other smokes on your team, obviously coordinate who's smoking where, especially pistol rounds, since cloves typically only get their one smoke. But with these two smokes, it's the same premise for all the other ones. This, you can see them coming out, and then same with here. For B site, for attacking, smoke market and CT, so that they look like this. If you're playing post plant, you can smoke these right here, and it'll look something like this. And then if you are defending B site, you can get away with the B main one if they're 5-man rushing, or if there's people coming mid and you get the comm that there's people mid, you can do the market smoke. So Bind is one of those maps where I see a lot of probably insta-lock cloves do really weird smokes, specifically when you're coming from the attacking side. So I always see smokes like right here, or smokes straight up onto heaven, kind of like this. While these are, I guess, decent smokes, they don't really help your team, especially heaven. They can just peek out, and then with the one off of lamps, they can just go back around to this door over here. What I do instead is smoke directly on site, and this way, when you're like down on the ground, heaven is blocked on both ways. So then all you have to worry about is defending, or I guess attacking, anyone coming from lamps. For defense, you should really be able to get away with just the one on showers, just like this. I see quite a few smoke right here, but the problem with this smoke is that they can still hop onto this box. And if anybody is on site or in heaven, they can just easily get those kills. For B site, if you are attacking, my go-to are these two smokes right here. Basically what this does, it blocks their spawn, or that area, whatever it's called. What is it called? It blocks B hall, and then it blocks backside. You could get away, if you know that there's people at elbow, you can smoke elbow. I just know that these two smokes have always done my team good. Now if you're defending, always smoke garden and then smoke hookah. For breeze, just don't play smokes. I'll still go through because I know some people just have like that one agent that they absolutely love to play. Personally, I play Clove on every map except for Breeze and Icebox. I do play Clove on Icebox occasionally. I did last night during my stream. Breeze is just one of those maps where it's finicky smoking spots, and there's not a lot of smoking spots that can help your team. As I said earlier, it is a spray and pray kind of map. So for some smokes you can do B main over here. Just your typical line it up with the arch, kind of like this. And you wouldn't really need to smoke on B window since it'll be blocked by this one on B main. If you do know that they're coming from mid, you can smoke B tunnel. But really, since you only have 2 smokes, these are basically the only 2 areas you could smoke until they basically just, you get them back. For A site, I would say you can smoke shop over here. Kind of like that. And then here, it's really hard to do the ones on the doors because when you put it on the map, it's basically doing it in the tunnel itself. So you could probably get away with a smoke like that if you really need to. If you really, really want to play Clove on this map, you could get away with these smokes. And then, I mean, like for attacking, there's just really not, there's just not a point to smokes on this map. Because attacking, they have all this site. Like they have up until this door. So like they could be anywhere on site. So like smoking, like say back smoking up here, doesn't really do much. Smoking way back here on bridge. Yeah, if y'all already have sight, you can like get this little one way. But really, as someone who has tried to play Clove on this map, I just don't see a use. So for Fracture, one of my personal favorite maps because honestly I'm pretty good at it. So obviously A site, smoke A hull, always. And then if you're also defending and you know that there's people coming dish, you can drop a smoke over here off a drop. Now if you're attacking, you can keep that drop smoke, but you could also, I smoke like this. That way it hides anyone coming from A link and then anyone back here. Again, you could, if you know people are coming from drop, you could do this smoke. And then if there are people rotating and you have your smokes back, you could drop this smoke right here. But again, with this one, they could easily just come out and go onto this part of heaven. For B site, they're pretty simple smokes for defense. I have a rotating 3 different ones. So you could do the B main smoke. You could do this smoke on arcade. And if there's anyone watching from tower, you could do this smoke right here. Oh, that was a bad one. Right here. I've done this smoke a few times and I've gotten some kills off of it, but really for defense, you should just focus on that smoke right there. If you are attacking, I normally come up through arcade, so I'll hit it with generator and then this one off of canteen. And that basically blocks them from their spawn. Pretty simple, very demure. So with Haven, since there are these 3 sites and you only have 2 smokes, you really have to figure out which site you're wanting to watch and defend for your team. So usually if I'm on A site, I drop these two right here. If you're coming in and attacking, I normally come in through sewers. So you can drop one on CT and tower, just like this. I will come back to this smoke in a second. For B site, pretty simple. You can smoke mid courtyard, and you won't have to smoke mid window just because this smoke is right here covering it up for you. For attacking, you can do A link and C link. So they'll look something like these. And then for C site, for defending, just this one smoke right here. I see a lot of people smoke, like, I've seen smokes like this. That's just weird and frankly pointless because they can just come in through the smoke, hop into cubby, and hide. Another smoke I would recommend for attacking or for defending is garage right here. And then for attacking, you can keep that garage smoke and then smoke off C-Link just like this. And I will come back to that one with C-Link. So coming back to A-Link or CT, I have seen smokes like this. This is a waste of a smoke. This defeats the purpose of smoking this area off. That's why smoking up is better. And then going back to C-Link, smoking right here, again, defeats the purpose. They can just come out and hide against this wall. That's why if you're trying to get them on site, you'll smoke right here so that they have no choice but to come forward if they want those picks. Okay, so for my worst enemy of a map, Icebox, I absolutely hate playing this map. But if you're defending, you can drop these 2 smokes right here on A site. If you're attacking, you can drop one up here and then off of rafters, and they'll basically look like that. For B site, for defense, I like to smoke right here. And then I also do this one over here, where it gives you like a nice little one-way. Not so much for this side, but for this side. And then for attacking, I do these 2 smokes right here. And I actually won a round last night on stream with these smokes. I have seen smokes like this, but really what that does, it just pushes them back onto this little platform, and they could still get a kill for anyone who's right here. So if you're right here and someone smoked there, like, they can still shoot you. But that's basically the only smokes that are good for B site and then the ones on A site. All in all, this just isn't like one of those smoking maps, since there's all these places that people can like come through, they can hide, this, that, and the other, kind of like Breeze. So for Lotus, this is one of my personal favorite maps. This was my best map last rank or last act. So for defending, I can get away with this smoke right here, and it basically pushes them either out towards anyone on stairs or out towards rubble with anyone holding this angle. Another one you can do is if you know they're in tree, you can drop that one right there. For attack, I have seen so many smokes like this. The problem with this smoke is they can just hide right here and wait. They can just wait. What you want to do instead is smoke right against the doorway. That's kind of the premise of smoking, is just right against the doorway so that it's flushed. So they can't just come out and hide. It basically forces them either to stay back towards their spawn or come towards you. If you're on site and playing post plant, you can drop these 2 right here on drop and what is that other one called? Top. Heaven and hell. You can drop them right there. You can also do the one over here that comes onto a site. And then if you know there's people flanking you, you can drop the same one that's on tree. And I know this one works because I used it yesterday in my stream and it secured my team that round. For B site, defending, since there's only a main, you can really defend right off the bat. Just this smoke right here, again, flushed with the doorway. Now, there's this one smoke I see quite frequently, and it's a smoke that kind of looks like this. Never do this smoke. That is a waste of a smoke. Instead, if you are attacking, you want to do it in these 2 spots. That way, if they come out, boom, free kill, boom, free kill. Same thing here. If they come out, boom, free kill. Now, if you know there's people in A link, you can just, again, flush with the doorway and drop a smoke just like that. For C, if I'm defending, I will smoke just like this. That will be an easy one way, so you can see if they're coming. If they are coming, you can easily run back into waterfall, send some comms for your team, and then you can smoke off C main to delay them from getting onto site even further. For attacking, I wait until I get to, I would say about this point right here, the choke point as it's called. I'll smoke off waterfall and then C hall, and those will look something like that. You can get away, I personally don't do this, but you can get away with smoking off site. Just know that if you do that, you're basically cutting off some of potential planting area. And for planting, I've seen that here and here work best. Occasionally, if I'm in a rush, I will smoke right here on the stairs. But that is basically the premise of Lotus smokes. Okay, so for Pearl, these smokes are pretty simple. You can smoke a main, and then you can smoke a link. They'll look something like that. If you're attacking, you can smoke flowers and sunset. But with this smoke right here, this one, it's kind of iffy. Because if there's someone hiding in this little secret dugout, they can just come up and see you from right here. So for that one, this is where you smoke a little bit further up to cover that right there. Now, if your team is all rushing a main, you can also smoke a link, and then you can smoke flowers. But if you have it split, like say 3 main, 2 art, you can do those 2 smokes. For B side, I'm going to start with the attacking side first because I see a lot of Cloves do really weird smokes with tower. This is a waste of a smoke. Do not do this smoke. Not only, yes, it pushes them out, but they still have this entire platform where they can easily get headshots from anywhere. Instead, you'll want to smoke right on top of the platform. So not only does it cover the doorway for tower, they still can't see anything and they fall off. And then they'll be like, oh my god, what? And then boom, you have a free kill. Another one I do for attacking is these 2 on hall if my team asks for it. If not, I just do these 2 right here. This one gives you an easy one way. So you can just boom, boom, boom. For defending, if you know there's people in B link, you can easily line it up at the doorway and smoke that off. And if they're all, if it is a 5-man rush down B main, you can drop the smoke right here. And then if you're up in heaven, kind of like this, you can easily get any kills for people hiding right here. Okay, so for split, this is one of those OG maps. We should all know how to play this map. For defense, this is a non-negotiable. Always smoke a main. You can also smoke right here on tower. If they are like straight up rushing you from ramps, you can smoke this off. If you have people watching ramps, you can drop this one right here. Now, if you are attacking, there are 3 different smokes you can do for a site. You can do heaven, you can do screens. They should look something like this. And then you could also do this one on ramps. And that'll basically hide you. Like you can just, if that's dropped and you have heaven dropped, you can just run onto site without paying screens any mind. But again, if you don't have ramps like smoked off and you just leave it with tower and screens, you'll need to either 1, clear this site, or 2, send people heaven, and then you could just run on site and then plant. For B site, there's also a few different smokes you can do here. Obviously, for defense, this is the one you should do. That one is also non-negotiable. If there's people coming mid, I would suggest smoking on this doorway. They can still come into mail, but with this, they're coming right at you, and you're not going to get backed into a corner. Now, if it was like this, as soon as they come through, you're right there, boom, they got the kill. This smoke basically backs you into a corner. Now, when you're attacking, this smoke right here on heaven should always get placed. And then I also do this smoke right here. And that basically lets your team run in without worrying about this side of the map. You can just run in and get anyone who might be on this side. If you're playing post plant, you can smoke off tower and alley. And they should look like that. Now for mid, I've always gotten away with doing this smoke just like this. But if you do have a sage on your team, you could just kindly ask them to wall from here to here, and that'll basically just cut mid. So if they want to go mid, they just have to go sewers, and that'll just lead them to A. Or they backtrack and go B site. Okay, so starting on A site, you can smoke here for defense, and it'll look something like that. You can also smoke off elbow, and it should look something like that. When you're attacking, you can smoke off alley, just like that, and then you can smoke off A link, just like that. For mid, if you're attacking and y'all are trying to like push through mid, you can just be like, smoke, and boom, they can't see you. Or if you're over here and you know someone's mid, I've played this smoke just to keep them from shooting me. That's like a last resort. For defense on B site, the typical main smoke. And then if you know that they're pushing through market, this smoke right here. And it should be touching this and this. It should be at an angle. If you're attacking, you'll do this market smoke, and then you can do this smoke right here. If you're playing post plant, you can also smoke right here. And the boba smoke is kind of useless, I'm not gonna lie. It's like extremely useless. They can hop up here and boom, kill. So what you could do instead is place it a little bit forward and they can't see. I saw someone yesterday place their smoke right here. This, don't do that because that does nothing. Like they can just hop over it and boom, they're on site. So if you want to smoke boba, drop it a little bit forward. That way they can't see onto site at all. So that was my how to smoke as Clove guide. If you enjoyed it, let me know. If you want to see any other agent lineups, let me know. I also play Sage and occasionally ISO and occasionally Fade. I kind of have one agent per category just so I can just be a fill if need be, but that was the video. Make sure to leave a comment down below if this helped you out. Leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.